artist was short-lived. His label flopped, and he had no stable source of income. And as a last-ditch effort, Rob jumped into reality TV in 2013 with Comeback Kids.
That's a real black Rob. You had a long journey and you still push it. You a true comeback king. What does this mean to you? How does it feel? What can we expect on the show, man?
Oh man, you can expect me as crazy. Me, you know what I'm saying? The line, man. We do what I gotta do, man. I got some good co-stars in this shit, man.
Meanwhile, Rob continued making music, and in 2015, he dropped his fourth album, Genuine Articles, but the project was a flop. At that point, Rob's music career had already fizzled out, and he was forced into early retirement. On top of that, Rob was dealing with serious health issues. He suffered 4 strokes, kidney failure, and needed to be on dialysis.
I had a stroke. That was right. Yeah, I had a stroke. I got over that. You know what I'm saying? I got over that. I showed you how to get over that. You know what I'm saying?
To make matters worse, Rob lost his health insurance, leaving him drowning in hundreds of thousands of dollars in hospital bills. See, Rob had emerged as a bad boy employee. While Diddy was busy cutting loose, he also took his health insurance.
This kid and shit. You see, man, I'm dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, they would ask me, I had insurance, you know, listen, yeah, I had insurance. I was like, man, because I had insurance. Oh, and they called and said something there. So I called them. I'm going to next week. I'm going to do some more for them. So I'm going to get these bags and shit.
That's not all that he did. He also pulled Rob's albums off the shelves, cutting off his only real income.
To do medication, you know, the shit. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, website. You know, come see me, don't break. You know what I'm saying? I didn't need no money. Like I said, I'm always getting money. You know what I'm saying? Like my records sell. They sold, so I have some type of money coming in my account. You know, it's like they said, oh, fuck them. Alright? And they went home. And I should have said, fuck y'all. You feel me? That's funny, right? Wow. It wasn't the one going crazy. You see, he was just the best part. Right? Like, he's not in the studio 20 hours, 15 hours. Never. Wasn't a lot. She's no love. Jules was just Jules. Johnny Jules.
Subscribe to Smash that. That first train that was given, pretty on
So
shocking evidence that black people or Native Americans dominate intelligence ever since slavery. So ask yourself very slightly, why were these findings suppressed, and what are they so afraid of discovering? Is it time? Isn't a conspiracy. This is genetic science, dismissed because it didn't fit the narrative. It challenges everything: textbooks, race categories, even land rights. Because if black Americans didn't just arrive on slave ships, if they were already here, then the system we live under was built on more than slavery. It was built on erasure. And now, the truth is rising back to the surface through DNA. This is the story they never wanted you to hear. And once you do, you'll never see your identity the same again. For generations, we've been fed the same watered-down version of Black American history, a version that starts abruptly in chains, sails across the Atlantic, ends in 1619, with nothing but sorrow, captivity, and struggle. We're told that Black Americans are the descendants of enslaved Africans who were taken from West, stripped of culture, and dropped into America's brutal plantation system. That's it. End of story. No past, no complexity, no deeper roots. But here's the problem. That myth is not just incomplete. It was designed that way. It was crafted to erase everything that came before the books. If our story starts in chains, then freedom looks like a gift, not a birthright. If our history begins with slavery, then identity becomes survival, not sovereignty. This mainstream version erases agency. It removes thousands of years of rich, complex cultural identity, both African and indigenous. It disconnects Black Americans from the land, from lost tribes, from spiritual roots that predate European arrival. And that's not an accident. History as we know it was written by the victors, the colonizers, the lawmakers, the textbooks. They didn't just conquer lands, they redefined people, reclassified entire populations, erased tribes, and renamed nations, and made sure Black Americans never fully knew who they were, only who they were told to be. But here's where things take a turn. In recent years, studying the theory of almost every single grade of science to the point where I read it from the back. It's the Big Bang Theory, God created evil forms in. Now, when it comes to these textbooks, we're talking about this big number two, especially if they put us in the history something powerful has been quietly challenging this whitewash narrative. DNA, cold, hard biological evidence that doesn't lie, doesn't have bias, and doesn't need permission to speak. And what's revealing? It's not just shocking, it's revolutionary, because DNA is uncovering connections Black Americans were never supposed to know, and histories they were never meant to reclaim. So now we have to ask, what if Black Americans didn't just come from Africa, but were already here? What if the truth was buried, not in the ocean, but in our blood? And what if the biggest lie was that your story began with chains? When it began with kings, nations, and your blood could speak. What if it could whisper the names of ancestors erased from history and shout the truth that textbooks refuse to tell? That's the power of DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. DNA is the microscopic thread of life found in every cell of our bodies. It's the biological code that determines everything from your skin tone to your hair texture, but it also holds something far deeper: your ancestry, your story. And here's what they don't tell you: DNA doesn't lie, but the people who interpret it can. Now, let's break it down. There are two major types of genetic markers used to trace lineage. The Y chromosome, passed down only from father to son, follows your direct male line. It's like a torch carried through the generations, unchanged, unbroken. Then there's mitochondrial DNA, or mtDNA, passed from mother to child.
They wonder why they mistreated the way they did treat
Artifacts were earliest brand markers. Together, these markers form a genetic breadcrumb trail, one that scientists use to map migrations, build family trees, unlock the truth of who we are, where we come from. But here's the catch.
our home
When these
or
trails
cause
lead
trouble,
to places that
trouble that they don't gotta cause.
like evidence that black people were present in the Americas long before Columbus, the trail suddenly goes cold. Studies vanish, researchers are discredited, and funding disappears. Why? Because DNA.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was already discovered. How does that explain that?
Just how history doesn't just tell stories, it threatens systems. In the early 2000s, multiple DNA studies found genetic markers in Native American remains that pointed not just to Asia, but to ancient African lineages, long before the transatlantic slave trade. Some of these results were labeled contamination, others were buried in obscure journals, never reaching the public. A few brave scientists who tried to publish these results found their careers stalled, silenced, or ignored. But the suppression was even deeper. Take the story of Henrietta Lacks, a black woman whose cells were taken without consent in 1951 and used to create the first immortal human cell line. Her DNA helped power medical breakthroughs, vaccines, gene mapping, and cancer treatments, but her family never gave permission. Her genetic code was literally harvested, commodified, and distributed globally, all while her descendants remained in poverty. If even her DNA could be exploited without consent, what makes us think modern DNA research is immune to bias or control? See, DNA is not just about genes. It's about truth. It's about reclaiming stolen meanings.
This is from not keeping up with
forgotten
your body
civilizations.
and just
When
letting
the
yourself
truth doesn't
go
fit the system
in
rewrites the
those
script.
things.
But not anymore, because black Americans are turning to DNA not just to learn, but to unlearn, to challenge every lie they've been fed, to reconnect with a legacy that is bigger, bolder, and richer than slavery could ever define. And trust me, what DNA revealed will shape the foundation of everything we thought we knew. Imagine spending your entire life being told who you are, only to find out that the people who told you never really knew, or worse, never wanted you to. That's what many black Americans are now realizing, thanks to DNA research that wasn't just controversial, it was buried. Let's start with one of the biggest players in the historical narrative, the Smithsonian Institution. For over a century, it shaped how Americans saw themselves and how black history was told. But behind closed doors, their scientific research began to reveal something they couldn't explain or refused to acknowledge. In the early 2000s, the Smithsonian launched extensive DNA testing and archaeological reviews of ancient remains found in North and South America. These weren't recent
You will not be cooking
many
it.
were thousands
It
of
will be
years old.
cooking you
But here's where
from
things
the
got
inside.
strange. Some of these remains contained haplogroups commonly found in sub-Saharan African populations, markers that, according to mainstream history, shouldn't have been there. These were pre-Columbian remains. That means before Columbus, before slavery,
Or
before
cooking
any
it
so-called
inside of you.
African migration. What were West African genetic markers doing in ancient American burial sites? Instead of publishing these findings with transparency, internal reports were shelved, certain researchers were pushed out, and the data quietly disappeared from the spotlight. Some called it academic caution, others called it historical erasure, but that's not the only case. Let's go back even further to a man who dared to say what Western scholars wouldn't. Cheikh Anta Diop, a Senegalese historian, physicist, and anthropologist. In the 1960s and 70s, Diop began conducting bold biological tests on the skulls and skin tissue of ancient Egyptian mummies. He wasn't just trying to prove they were African people. They had melon, wide nasal indexes, and cranial structures consistent with modern black populations. Diop's work shattered the Eurocentric myth of a white Egypt, but instead of being celebrated, he was ignored, dismissed, and even banned from publishing in key academic journals. Why? Because in Egypt, the foundation of Western civilization was, in fact, then the entire racial hierarchy that justified colonialism, slavery, and white superiority would begin to crumble. Still, Dion didn't stop. He once said, to make African history accessible, we must first remove it from European libraries. And he was right. But the truth didn't die with Dion. It only evolved. Fast forward to the 1990s and early 2000s. DNA studies began testing indigenous remains from North America, in particular conducted at a Midwestern university, but later unpublished, revealed something truly earth-shattering. Several ancient Native American skeletons, dating back thousands of years, carried haplogroup E1B. If that code doesn't mean much to you, here's the translation. It's one of the most dominant lineages found in West and Central African males. Let that sink in. Long before any ships pulled to the Atlantic, black people were already here. But instead of rewriting textbooks, the study was buried. Funding disappeared. Some of the researchers who tried to speak up don't know. And one even lost tenure. One whistleblower, who spoke anonymously in a 2007 podcast interview, said, "We weren't supposed to find them. When we did, they told us to rerun the data or discard it. I knew then that science was huge. It was a part of what it means to It's challenges the science. It is science. Ancient words thousands of years ago, before the first slave ship ever docked. In some studies, haplogroup A and E1B1A, both associated with sub-Saharan Africans, have been found in Native American remains in the Americas, particularly along the Gulf Coast and parts of the Mississippi Valley. These findings were either ignored, challenged, or dismissed as contamination because they didn't fit the accepted historical script. Ask yourself, why would indigenous American remains be shown African DNA before Africans' personhood? Why? Real-life DNA texts that tell a different story. Now, here's where it gets personal. Many Black Americans who've taken commercial DNA tests for ancestry, DNA, or heritage are reporting unexpected results. For example, not because theirs was as expected, but others have discovered explorers sailed across the Atlantic, bringing culture, language, and genetics to the Americas. Suggest that Black Americans carry traces of this origin, not just West using a lot of force.
3,000?
Just generations of isolation. This is what the system needs back. If you want origin story, what power, fears, memory. If Black Americans are looking to have slavery, genetics in America, that means the African American label becomes questionable, maybe even weaponized. Think about that. By lumping everyone into one category, African American, the narrative becomes simple. You came from somewhere else. We brought you here. Be grateful. That's your story. But if DNA shows that many Black Americans have indigenous American, Irish, Berber, or ancient Semitic markers, that tidy narrative collapses. And so does the illusion of democracy. This truth doesn't just shape it, it shapes the entire world. Because if Black Americans aren't solely West African, what does that mean for Pan-Africans as it's currently defined? Are we ignoring ancient connections between indigenous Americans and communities that were involved in slavery and all of this opportunity to unite not just through pain, but through shared legacy, not just that makes for us never know. Cancer is just uncomfortable because systems are that's why this isn't just about numbers, it's about champions, invisible ones. The scary news is not just that thousands of Native Americans as also the death today genetic studies
I got it.
that were once surface showing links to ancient indigenous populations of the southeastern United States. Oral traditions once laughed at are now confirmed by science. What does this mean? It means the truth is coming back, not just through labs, but through memory, through language, and ancestral pride. It means Black Americans may not just be from Africa, they may also be the original people of this land, erased only on paper, never in spirit. And perhaps the biggest shock of all, the same system that tried to erase you is now being exposed by the very science it once controlled, because your identity can't be buried forever. It was just sleeping, waiting for you to reclaim it. We're not here to deny the African and Black American identity, far from it. But let's be real, we've been fed a watered down version, a version that starts in chains and ends in plantation.
Not the same exact, the same thing as but that is something that that's the and that started also social media. So we found out that which happened every single video bring out information that I can that's like subscribe to certification catch what
So that
I recently watched the last banana.
you have to have it before we
And I'm
do
gonna be
this.
honest,
So that
that episode was dirt. It didn't grasp like the truth of it. People think that the finale, the best episode of the entire season, which is it wasn't it. No, it overlooked it. But this right here is humiliating. Like this.
What's up, Jennifer? Good, I got some flowers. Anime is thank you. Let's check about videos.
I'm so used to like guys getting back.
Wait, why you playing on someone else do that stuff? On the rush.
Because it's Chase Banana, the team already.
Turned up, doing way too much, and I stay with a toilet.
Sit back a little bit. Don't be the so you have to sit back and look at what works and like you start learning control your beliefs. This is what's we have this video right here. Title Stop Ignoring Voice of Reality TV. 5 casualties.
Most people understand that reality shows aren't exactly real. But to dismiss the shows and just say, oh, it's all scripted, it's all fake, that's not exactly true either. You see, these shows operate more like human science experiments than scripted entertainment. Producers aren't necessarily telling contestants what to do, what to say, and how to act, but going through a series of calculated behind-the-scenes steps to control the environment and guarantee chaos. Unfortunately, because these ideas are listening to what people press and they're a bit complex cases where contestants' lives were tragic or short, potentially mental and emotional toll these shows have had. Today we're going to uncover the step-by-step process reality shows use to psychologically manipulate their contestants into giving them entertainment that they want in all the ways it is often hard overall. It all starts with the people they cast in the first place, whose personality profiles will naturally clash, ensuring the fights and maximizing the drama. Even though reality shows have a vastly different process, basically structure where the strippers together isolate them from the outside world, through some kind of challenge, stakes, process for maximizing the entertainment value of these shows in terms of the speed of that's reality shows in which casting process. First step really reality shows the application and application shows up where IQ and psychological evaluations to ensure contestants will be able to perform under pressure was very simple. Production goes through 5,000 initial applicants, complete with background and psychological screenings before they're even considered for a callback. One of the reasons why this process takes so long is because producers aren't just looking for good contestants, they're looking for specific characters. Every person on the show has to fit a very specific role. You might have the hero, the villain, the underdog, the heartbreaker, the loudmouth, the wild card. It's like casting for a movie, except the script hasn't been written yet. And usually the most successful shows are when everyone plays their role perfectly. Like in Jersey Shore, Ronnie was the hothead who wanted to start fights. Danny was the female hothead who wanted to start fights. Snooki was the lovable niece. Like the situation was the arrogant loudmouth. Vinny was the laid-back, lovable nice guy. Like the situation was the arrogant loudmouth. Vinny was the laid-back, lovable nice guy. Paulie D was the uplifting wingman. You knew exactly what you were going to get from each character, which made the show easier to produce, stories easier to write, and fans could easily understand and develop parasocial relationships with the cast. However, during the casting process, what producers are truly looking for are people that exhibit characteristics known as the dark triad. The term dark triad refers to a trio of negative personality traits: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. Put more simply, they're looking for those who are entitled, lack empathy, and manipulate others. Why? Well, these are the people that create the best drama. A perfect example is Russell Hantz from Survivor. But first, a quick word from today's sponsor. Flavored air is quickly becoming the publicity base of many most make our beef sub shipping drinks their to get yours or any other contestants. Since now supplies and lying straight to people's face. He wasn't just playing the game, he was thriving on the narration control and directly influence. Contestants wear these dark triad traits in their back of their hearts and maybe work harder to respect their answers. This way is a pathetic answer.
This is the first interaction I had with her. So I want to see her influence. And I want to see this powerful twist. So
have many overlapping traits. Actors, con artists, and scammers all tend to exude energy and have excellent power powers and persuasion. The best scammers project something desirable and likable about themselves to increase perceptions of trust and appear to offer an opportunity with lots of upside while glossing over the risks. And to no surprise, there are literally countless people who were found guilty of financial crimes before or after appearing on reality TV. Jen Shah from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City was running a telemarketing scam targeting vulnerable, often elderly individuals. Shah pleaded guilty and was later sentenced to 6.5 years in prison in order to pay $6.5 million in restitution to research strong users in New Jersey served millions in prison for multiple acts of financial fraud. Richard Hatch, a survivor of
How am I going this way?
vaccination was interestingly found guilty of both evading taxes and conspiracy to evade the completed finance fraud and unbeknownst to officials. He was also sentenced to 7 and 12 years in prison. Another reality super scammer, the average person, it's a different example, but it also is like these motives are intentionally trying to hide scammers away from the show. Both show producers have been aggressively surrounded and predicted the story since they incorporated deep vagueness in the station without any controversies. Contestants have they were investigating the script, trained to dig up any skeleton in the closet or materials for their story. Those who take
Hey. Now let's go to
with the contestants
There you go.
discussing production
Then it
conditions,
won't start through this again.
manipulative to make producers use behind the scenes, famous viral Reddit post from the reality show contestants. Producers making the film art for months. It's also naive, expert, experimental growth films, trust, such as became recognizable to discuss reality and its city also reality just be a random person on the internet making this film. It's incentives that feel like listeners tactics to manufacture chaos.
This shit looks like the world is by the end, by the way. He's fucking like, damn. What was that series, please?
Implementing borderline torturous tactics to manufacture chaos. It all starts with 24/7 surveillance. As soon as you wake up in the morning, your mic is put on. You go to bed, it's taken off. On The Bachelor, contestants sign contracts in which they must agree to be filmed up to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But this may also be by means of hidden cameras and microphones, according to the contract, meaning they're likely going to be caught at some point in a less than positive light. They should have no expectation of privacy. This may seem like an obvious necessity for reality TV to function. After all, the only way they can capture reality is by making sure literally everything is being filmed and recorded. Right? Sometimes you see a contestant rip off their microphone and storm off to essentially protest being recorded, but the cameras just follow them anyways, and the audience is excited for more drama. It's a harsh reminder that they literally can never escape. On The Bachelor, constant filming is actually sold as a good part of the experience. Contestants open up about things like anxiety, grief, or past trauma, all while the cameras are rolling 24/7, turning their real pain into a part of the show. The audience is made to believe that all this surveillance is necessary to show someone's journey, because towards the end of the show, there is literally a highlight reel of all of their pain being broadcast to millions of people. And the craziest part is, contestants have no control of how that pain is edited, manufactured, and presented to the world. Surveillance is done by the producers to maintain complete control over their participants. And this anonymous Love Island contestant described the extreme lengths producers will go to.
Maybe they don't realize how much weapons are involved. If you use teenage wildlife outside the progressive Languages Act, yesterday was just filled with possibly another situation.
That's what I noticed. It might be on another post of theirs.
Another former Love Island contestant described what producers will do to provoke a situation.
They set up an army to test you because they know exactly what you don't like, they know what you're scared of, they know what you're attracted to, what you're not attracted to. They know the triggers, so it's very easy for them to manipulate you in the right situation to get the best reaction out of you. And especially when the storyline is not going the way that they want, they know exactly how to fix that because they know you very well. You literally are just a little rat and they're the big squirrel. And they try to see what they can change and what they can do to see how you're going to react and how far they can push you.
Now, beyond surveillance, one of the foundational elements of a successful reality show is keeping the contestants in pure isolation. In Big Brother, contestants are confined to a house with no access to phones, internet, television, or contact with family and friends. This isolation forces them to rely on their relationship within the house, making every alliance, betrayal, and argument feel more intense. The Bachelor contestant Leslie Hughes said,
It's really rough. What's that? Is it what I'm talking about? That has no phone? No, scoot over.
she's from
We have nothing. We are completely cut off.
Hey, you want me to do 3 of you?
Talk to each other. We have nothing else to do. Similarly, love isolates contestants and avoids communication.
Work for this 20. You got work for this 20,000.
It's one of those things where looking back on it, if someone told me it was
They ask you before you go on a trip, what kind you like. They get to know what your favorites are. And while producers don't force you to drink alcohol beverages or during their dates because the microphones pick up the unpleasant sounds. No one looks good eating, and microphones pick up all kinds of chomping. Now, this seems like a justifiable reason, and even though it sounds messed up and shows up survival. Contestants aren't fed enough to somewhat mimic the simulated reality of surviving the wild. One could also theorize that low blood sugar could prompt emotional reactions, pushing contestants towards emotional or medical breakdowns. In Mr. Beast games, contestants complained about their food rations. One meal reportedly included a tiny portion of cold oatmeal, one hard-boiled egg, and a few pieces of raw vegetables. They also described going long stretches without being fed by the production. There were times when the production staff gave out small feastable chocolate bars and filmed people eating and praising the candy. Contestants with food allergies and dietary restrictions struggled more than others. Before the competition, people filled out forms detailing their dietary needs. An FAQ document was provided to contestants in advance of the event and said that all dietary restrictions would be taken into consideration. Some contestants claimed to be certain they were allergic to, and alternatives had been provided. We were treated horribly, the contestants said. They took on this challenge of 2,000 competitors. They should have known they needed an enormous crew to handle this correctly. So now the producers have trapped and isolated borderline toxic people who are malnourished and pumped with alcohol. At the very least, a good night's sleep would be their last chance to recalibrate. Well, they don't get that either, because sleep deprivation is one of the most messed up but crucial parts of the reality show entertainment formula.
We feel a lot as though clocks, what they was doing was like keeping you up really late, waking you up early, so that you're going to react more because you like basically sleep deprivation.
Most competition reality shows follow a similar daily routine. Wake up early in the morning, typically around 7 a.m., then they go do their competitions or tasks for the day, then in the evenings they talk strategy or socialize with another while getting drunk. Now you have to keep in mind that producers' top priority is to get 45 minutes of watchable television each day. They can count on roughly half of the airtime coming from the actual competitions or tasks, but the other half needs to be the all-too-sweet drama that everyone craves. The day is coming to an end and they don't think they have enough. They will keep the contestants to wait. For 3 years, Sarah Shapiro worked as a producer on the reality show The Bachelor. Her task, she recalls it, was to get the contestants to open up and to give them terrible advice and to deprive them of sleep. She sees it now as complicated manipulation through friendship. In Jeremy Harwell's lawsuit against Love is Blind, he said that they implemented what was called night dating. We didn't have clocks or anything, so it's hard to know exactly when it happened, but typically the night dates will last until about 2 a.m. He estimates that between getting back to his hotel room at 3 a.m. and being expected in the lobby at 7:15 a.m., he got 2 to 3 hours of sleep a night. On the challenge, cast members have reported being kept up until 3 or 4 a.m. and then forced into physically demanding tasks just a few hours later. On Love Island, the lights in the villa stay on until producers decide it's time for bed, and contestants are often woken up abruptly for surprise challenges. The lights are on the entire time during Big Brother taping, even when the contestants are asleep. Interestingly enough, this is the same tactic that is used by the toughest maximum security prison in El Salvador. Privacy and sleeping with the lights off is considered a privilege.
The modules are kept lit all day and night for monitoring. If the sun goes down, lights stay on all the time. They are constantly being observed. I think this is one of the hardest things. When they try to sleep, they use their towels and cover their eyes to block the light.
And all this manipulation, control, pushing contestants to their breaking points still isn't enough to make a good show. Producers have one final weapon. They'll rewrite reality itself through a process known as frankenbiting. Frankenbiting is the editing technique reality TV.
So it's constantly being recorded. Like everything is being recorded.
Producers use to reshape a contestant's words and actions into whatever storyline they want, even if it's not what actually happened. Editors take small clips of dialogue, sometimes even single words or reactions, and stitch them together to create entirely new sentences or emotional responses that never happened in real life. Now, a lot of the time, this seems to be completely innocuous. Like this clip from The Bachelor, the girl who says, "Shut up," is spliced into the edit to make it look like she interrupted Corinne.
I know it may not be everyone's favorite scene. Now, really, in terms of things that random comments or whispers, Right, you know, I hate to break it to you, I just can't entertain the possibility that per chance that they're gonna be the same situation as exactly the way we live.
Regardless of consequences of reality show endings, the movie contestants are given credits for obsessive jokes, which is
Damn.
towards people who have been labeled as villains on the show. Being disappeared can't blame the fans. After all, they can only judge a contestant based on what they've seen on the show. But as we know, these shows are barely a reflection of who that person actually is, making the contestants fans credits for being made to believe they're credited in some kind of way. The contestants are games that have threats in some cases. They don't have information and addresses or history also suffered the same fate. Would that not be a slight indication of what season of Joe 1987 is this that Joe became the worst person to ever be voted on reality TV competition shows
Ugh, finally. Shit. Do a few races. Get tired of. Features of the baseball.
That's a $30 and meals and drinks.
All the variants. Let's do it. That messed me up. Hard work. Fuck.
A whole lot of shit, cause I'm a real ass nigger. Never let a bump bitch finesse me off the feeder. Don't get no ass hot, I can tap off that liquor. Get the fuck a whole lot of shit, cause I'm a real ass nigger. Never let a bump bitch finesse me off the feeder. Don't get no ass.
Level of reward. Okay. With the 9. 9 eggs. Okay. Right. Take it. Alright. I gotta get to 19. Level 19. Yeah. Would you like to try this? should still be the same time. What do you mean? Did you see the Discord link that I sent you? I mean, if you never did it before, you're going to be super sore. Extra car. I'm looking for it, but I don't see it. Here. Looking for the extra car. Too many. Telling me that there's an electrical nearby, but it's really not nearby. So it's close to the patrol. Man, took me out of the mission. Man. Let's see if I can catch him. Alright, bro. Come on. Watch out. close.
Obviously, there's another woman right now, but this ain't the time to break down.
I gotta get to 19, man. I want that Dodge Charger.
That girl who was charging, she don't even know what's happening on the charger. But that's just
Shit. Let's get out. bitch. Get that back.
Trying to sell this diamond chain. That's a nice one. Yes.
You can't get in. What is it telling you?
You paid $32? Yeah. So you're looking for 118? No, you're paying 32,000. Person you have to tell me tonight. So I can't get over that. She actually believed the whole thing. I'll take a look at it. I do that.
10 minutes to watch the video? Yeah, because I already knew what the video was pertaining. And I don't like those type of women. You can. The video is still going. All you have to do is accept it and join. Just let me know what it's doing so that I can see what I can do on my side.
Does she have a point? Or at least he's trying. Let me know who's right or wrong in this situation. That he deserves the right to be a father, or it's just another part of the cycle. The woman just bringing the pain so she can fall away. We may be delusional here. You can't that gives real daughter a gift, but not his stepdaughter, because he's no longer with her mom. She breaks down in tears. See what happens?
she doesn't even know what's going on. And all the stepdaughters look like they need to have a job. This is exactly the point a lot of fathers routine with kids. It's the rivalry that the baby mothers use. If you agree, get that fight. And that's what the problem was. Everyone actually stayed in the loop. They allowed those to something that they did.
You said the lady turned the easy way out. Real. Let me see. Man, ooh. Should I get this? I don't know. That's what I want. Right there. Yeah.
She needs a drug dealer or a skater and have all the free time in the world. Any legit businessman out there working cannot be gone like that. Playtime and work are not the joint of each other. It was always the good news for intentions with the high standard.
How you feel about that? Hold on. How you feel about that?
Basically saying, I'm looking for a chick that's gonna trick on me so we can travel and go and have some fun. Like, that's not real good for the lifestyle. The guy will take all these trips around the world and not be connected with his wife and the kid. Like, just how we do your girl year after year. That ain't like, at some point, you gotta have children that you're taking mentally, like Universal Studios, places like that. That's what successful is. That means she gets blown out. If she gets blown out, then that means put in the comments and let me know.
Is your outfit appropriate for school or not?
And yes, it is, because teachers don't normally dress like that. They're trying to show off a couple of little boys who can't control themselves. You see that butterfly tattoo going down the wall? Butterfly flowers are a god of trauma and quickly. Yes, she's seeking attention. I can guarantee you. She will begin outside of your school.
For sure, there is no question about that. However, a big debate on the internet right now is the matter of her outfit. You have one side saying it's too tight and not something that she should be wearing for whereas
For 1 minute, I think I'm gonna keep it on for about 2 more, maybe.
When I first saw this video, the one thing that stuck out to me were her shoes. Like,
Yeah.
it's
See what we have.
And then they're open to it.
I need to get to level 19. Ooh,
Wearing different clothes.
not the skyline.
That's why they win.
Jesus. No, as far as her top and her skirt, I feel like the top is fine. The skirt does look a little tight, but I think that's because of the material. I feel like if she got an actual pencil skirt and not like a fitted bodycon
Level
skirt,
27.
but to be quite honest, when you are shapely, right, when you have that natural profile shape, anything that you wear that fits properly is going to show off the body. It is what it is.
It is something that a woman does not want to get to the club. I went to an elementary school, a place where literally people ran around just like going to the club. They're asking for attention, not comfortability. You can tell by your shoes.
Leave her body at home. It's not the case of is the problem the outfit or the body that is inside of the outfit, right? Because I guarantee you, if she was shaped like an asparagus and very skinny, or if she was a bigger lady and shaped like a bridge, then this would not be a topic of discussion whatsoever.
And that's the problem. They relate to each other through emotion, not logic, which is why you're losing. How do you attempt to walk out on a check to get down the street, get in the car, drive away, come back, and realize you got this place as the place you brought to your picture, come back in and want to have an attitude like why would it be just because you scream, raise your voice for someone to get it up and don't touch you? Things got to work in your favor. Good things are good. That's why it's so good. Or no, customers like this in the right price, if you want to just take the paper, what do we need for? I get you straight. This is how you know somebody is wrong to leave. It's when they're really, when they go out to places, they really makes you so
Really. Got money on my mind. Really. Make it something. Breakfast, boss. Make it breakfast. You in the kitchen, make it. Girls.
It's because I was basically in practice.
It's into adult content, adult entertainment, like you said. Naked breakfast.
So he's a pimp.
Yeah, basically.
It's so the world pimps. In order to find out, have you experienced naked breakfast in a way with those that over
Close. Lucifer. Rufus.
Hey, listen, no hate on the brother. Shine, nevertheless, this will directly hit you. Absolutely, yeah. Let me get this off the screen with my whole YouTube channel. Let's go.
Name, age, occupation. Education.
If I would have stayed a little longer, but it's the age. We gotta give it but it's age for me. It's age.
So, sure. Yeah, she gave me like a I don't know, tell her problem the other day. She, you know what I mean? It's just, I feel comfortable, aging the camera.
Like I said, I'm gonna train. I ain't big.
I love the way she dressed. She doesn't really have a mean approach. Personally, but I do love her. She brought me there. Sure.
It's what he said. I was open about this. So maybe.
Okay. Thank you. She gave me a simple mommy down here. I don't think what she got on for sure. I wouldn't approach her. I mean, I don't mind older women. I would approach her. She's so like, man, I would approach her. I think the employee, the chick with the panties. Okay, so for ladies that have been in a relationship, a serious relationship, I kind of want to know how it ended, and then how to, if you have a connection with that person still, how to what extent is it? choice. It's genius here, you know. Jack, it's been so long since I've done this. I actually forgot it. Damn, Glamour,
Damn, cause I'm the one that put you up.
Let's see.
Oh, I like this one. I like. I'm buying it.
How people play for the future, but you're not now. Get your kitty on the phone now, boys, internet. Possible reaction, and you're still talking about being wild. I'm naked on the ground. It's and if they can break this, like think about the process they took to build this. Like there's a lot of different decision steps there. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of different points. A lot of different, and as she said, listen, based off of the voice experience that like demonstrated myself as nothing more than a woman who gets caught like a slut. Let me act this out to demonstrate that I am a wife material. 3 posts later, pictures of her damn son. We're good. Where's my citizen? Look, baby girl. Do me a favor. Take the future wife out of your profile and make a lot more sense. Instead, if you put future breakfast boss employee, make a lot more sense. Get this shit off of my screen. I know.
Name not first. Holla, baby. Hold on, y'all. Cooking. Thank you for the 2 that's watching, or the 1 that's watching. Appreciate it.
Nevertheless, absolutely. The profile that I would take on him to save himself probably a good.
There she is. Finally. What up, what up?
Not much.
Oh, okay, okay, there we go. There we go. Yeah. I'm just playing the game right now, cooking some bacon and some food and stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Technical difficulties. Technical difficulties. Damn it. Shit. Ruined my joke momentum. Yeah, this shit, that shit ain't no buzz, baby. What was the mathematical equation? No one in the studio said, baby girl, that shit right there. Fuck pop the balloon. You talking about pop the areola, baby. Constricting your lungs. Man.
So those are my reading glasses. I can't see sometimes when I have those.
But here's the thing. Outside of it just not having a flattering choice, I do think that, when I see outfits like this on people, it's like, if the delusion is indulged, most people will think.
Your reading glasses, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. I see you.
Big.
Can you see the other screen?
Some dress is too small, but your watch is too goddamn big. You gotta make a struggle.
It should be 3 screens.
Right? You're nice and slick down, right? You're slicked up. You gotta.
Yeah, I see. So I see a woman.
Oh, there we go. Can you hear it? Can you hear it?
In order to get situated with men,
Yeah.
Okay.
Carrying on.
What's happening? Yeah. You know, entrepreneurship, entrepreneur. Yeah, I used to do this a lot when I'm looking at movies or YouTube or whatever.